Hey, we're back with you here on Tip-Off to close up things here. And first off, a funny thing happened on the way to the WPIAL championship game, and it wasn't so funny for the Mohawk Warriors. A number one seed, and they fall to South Allegheny 64-63. And South Allegheny knocked them off last year in the, I believe, semifinals a season ago. You know, Larry, they've had good players at Mohawk. Michael Lair came over, and then they started winning. They had Jay Rona, now Drew Rona, Bobby Fadden. They got the PIAA ahead of them, but
are they in?
Yeah,
did they qualify?
They won a consolation game last night at home, so that solidifies their PIAA playoff berth. But we can ask this: is their WPIAL championship window closed?
Well, the answer to that question is: are there any more Ronas or Faddens in the pipeline? Because it's all about the players, Ronnie. It's all, I've coached long enough to know it's all about the players. And the great John Wooden, when they asked him, you know, Coach, you were the coach of the 20th century. If you had to pick one thing, just one thing that led to your success, what would it be? His answer: I had the best players. And Michael Lear knows how to coach them up. Are there any more Drew Ronas? Or are there any more Bobby Faddens in the pipeline? And if there are, they're going to continue to be a force. But it's all about the players.
Mm-hmm. Drew Rona will be back next year. Cameron O'Leary, son of the coach, will be back next year. But beyond that, I mean, they're going to be missing a 2,000-plus point scorer in Bobby Fadden. It's going to be really tough to replicate it. They could make the playoffs. I don't see them being a number one seed next year, but wow.
I mean, Bobby Fadden was one of the best players in the history of Lawrence County basketball. Mm-hmm. How many have put up 2,000? And I saw it coming when he was in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. You know, we played Mohawk's 9th grade team, and he was an 8th grader playing up. And I looked at him and said, wow, is this young man special? And, there haven't been too many 2,000-point scorers in the history of Lawrence County basketball, but he was one of them. Tough to replace talent like that. It's just tough to do that. And Drew Rona's brother, who I believe is playing baseball at YSU, got a mental block. What's his first name? I try to
Jay Rona.
Jay. I try to forget it because when I was coaching at Chenango, I could never get him out. Yeah. But Jay Rona was a great player, and he was a great baseball player too. So again, it's all about what's in the pipeline, Ronnie. It's all about that. And Michael Lair knows how to coach them up. But if you don't have the horses, you're not going to be the number one seed in the WPIAL. I saw the game. The killer. I saw the last play because it was all over Twitter. The killer is they had the play stopped. Mm-hmm. And they didn't secure the rebound. And it was a putback that beat them. And as a coach, man, I mean, you talk about it all the time. That ball goes up. Go get your body on somebody. I used to tell my guys, I don't care if you get the rebound. Don't let the guy you're guarding get the rebound. That should be your mindset. They had the play stopped. It was a backdoor cut that got them, and the kid missed. But they got a put back. And then, to his credit, Bobby Fadden almost made the three to win the game. It hit the back of the rim. Man, that looked good.
Yep, back of the iron, no good. That's for sure. I'm glad you mentioned that about the last play. This will lead into that last play because if you remember, a few weeks ago, we talked going into the playoffs, which teams are and which teams aren't battle tested. And I had you give me a definition of what battle tested is. Mohawk boys are 21-2. Now, when we talk battle tested, we went more in depth on the Neshannock girls. I think we might have glossed over Mohawk boys because of how bad Neshannock's girls were beating teams. But Mohawk boys now are 21-2. Did you know, Larry, 4 of those wins are by 10 points or less? Did you also know, Larry, that 13 of those wins have come by 20 points or more, which means they're not really playing too many close games. They're playing a lot of blowouts. And then that play that you mentioned, right down at the end, a lot of those kids, they're not playing the fourth quarter. A lot of those kids are not playing past the middle of the third quarter. But here they are, as you would always say, when the pressure is so high, you can't even spit. Well, now you're in a game like that, and you don't get the closeout rebound that would have sent it to overtime or won the game.
Yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with pressure, Ronnie. That's just a mental lapse. You know what I mean? I used to talk about two things when I was a head coach. I wanted out of my team, and Ruff does the same. Laser focus. You got to be focused, right? And mental toughness. But that was a laser focus play. Just for a second, you lost your focus and didn't get your body on that guy. Mohawk secures the rebound. They win the game, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it has anything to do with pressure there. It's just basically, a lapse for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to give the kid from South Allegheny credit. The guy went to the rim, grabbed the rebound and put it in.
Right.
So there's something to be said about that too.
Neshannock girls, moving on to the Neshannock girls, they reached the semifinals last week with a win over Laurel. And it got me wondering, when is the last time that Laurel defeated Neshannock in girls basketball? So I looked it up. How many games in a row has Neshannock defeated Laurel in basketball? Any idea, Larry? Would you care to venture a guess?
I don't know. No, I don't.
Okay. They have won 8 in a row against Laurel. And I was shocked that it wasn't maybe double that, because it seems like it has been. But I wrote down some interesting things. Here's the closest games by season: 62-40 in 2023-2024, 66-40 in 2024-2025. Also in that season, I wrote this down. It's interesting to me. 47-6. That's a football score. But I kept looking at the scores and said, nope, that's actually basketball. 47-6. And then this year's closest game was 72-37. They're beating them, and they're beating them bad.
Well, it has something to do with the players.
Yeah.
Trust me, it has something to do with the players, but it's a belief system too. As a head coach, I wanted my team to believe, right? If the head coach doesn't believe, the players are not going to believe. The first thing I said when I got the job at Chenango is he's like my little brother, Johnny Colero. Get ready, Johnny. We're coming for you. In the first year we won the WPIAL, we beat them in the quarterfinal game to get to the semis and end up winning a WPIAL championship. The day before we played Seton LaSalle. Seton LaSalle's a Pittsburgh All-Star team. They had 5 Division I baseball players on that team. We're at the pep rally the day before the game. I told Jan Budai, who's the athletic director, after I introduced my players, I said, hey, Jan, I want you to call the athletic director from Seton LaSalle tomorrow. And he looked at me like I was crazy. Like, why? I said, I want you to let him know we're going to be there. We're coming. And tell him one other thing. His team better have their big boy pants on because we're coming to win. You got to make your guys believe. You got to make your guys believe. And that's half the battle. But the other half of the battle is players. We beat Seton LaSalle in 2021, not because Larry Kelly was making speeches, because I had players. I had players who could play the game. And it always comes down to the players, Ronnie.
Yeah, sometimes, in a rivalry, you kind of forget how the history is shaped. As I mentioned, they've won 8 in a row. The last time that Laurel defeated Neshannock, you have to sit there and you think, when I tell you, you're going to remember. You're going to say, "Oh yeah," it's going to jog your memory. Well, it jogged mine too. The last time that Laurel defeated Neshannock, 66-46 in the WPIAL Class 3A semifinals on Laurel's way to the WPIAL championship game.
How many years ago?
2022-2023 season.
Yeah, I remember that game. Was that game maybe played at Geneva College? I can't.
That I couldn't tell you.
I think that game was played before one of our Newcastle games. And look, it's about players,
mm-hmm.
And it's about programs, and there's a little bit to be said about both of that. But at the end of the day, it's always about players. And, I can only speak from experience. At Newcastle, we've had great success. Why? Well, number one, I think we have the best coach in the WPIAL. That's a biased opinion. But if you were to ask Ralph, he would tell you we've had great players. And, when you have the players and then you have the coaches who get their players to play to be the best they could be, then you have that kind of success.
Yeah. Luann Grabowski, as I mentioned in another segment, she won her 796th career game tonight. Winning a WPIAL title would obviously bring 797 to her, and she could reach 800 in the state playoffs this year. How special would that be? Not just to win 800 maybe in a December 10th type of game or in a tip-off game. We're talking in a state playoff game, you could win your 800th career game. That has to be really special.
It's special. It's unprecedented, right? Is she the leading? Does she have the most victories in the history of women's basketball in the state of Pennsylvania?
I don't believe so, because when she got to 700, we did a feature on her and stuff like that, and we ran a graphic. I want to say somebody won over 1,000 games.
Oh, maybe, but she's right up there. It's the longevity, but again, she's dedicated to the program. She coaches them in the summer in AAU tournaments. She coaches the junior high teams. How many varsity coaches do you know that coach the junior high team? I'm talking about 7th and 8th grade basketball. She does it so that by the time they get to the varsity level, they understand the system, the program, what's expected of them. She's created excitement in the Shannock. These girls are excited to play. That's the one thing you have to do as a coach. You have to create excitement so that you get your best athletes out to play. We've been able to do that at Newcastle. The kids are excited to be part of that program. And she's done the same thing in the Shannock.
Yeah, there's an expectation with that program, and it starts at the lower levels. And I tell you another reason why that's important, at least from the lens that I look at it through, and maybe you would disagree or somebody else would, but those kids, when they're playing for her as a 4th grader, 5th grader, 6th grader, what have you, and they see how intense she is and what they expect of her, well, then by the time she gets to be 9th grade or 10th grade and she continues to teach them and maybe yell at them and stuff, they're not going to quit. They're not going to just drop off the team and say, I've had enough of this. They're used to her, and they know what she wants and they know what's needed.
Well, let me add something too. That's a credit to the administration out there, because it's not easy to play for Luann. It isn't. She demands excellence. It's not easy to play for Ralph Belendo. He demands excellence. But sometimes in demanding excellence, little Johnny or little Mary needs to be corrected and pointed in the right direction. And, the administration at Neshannock and at Newcastle does not interfere with those coaches. They let them coach. I mean, sometimes it's just the way it goes. And it's a credit to the administration. So there's a lot of reasons why these programs are successful. In some programs, you're not allowed to raise your voice at little Johnny. Because if you do, then the parent goes, complains to the school board, and the school board fires the coach. It's a credit to the coaches, to the players, to the administration. There's a lot of reasons why those Newcastle and the Shannock has had the success that they've had.
Absolutely. Okay, we have just a few teams left that are playing, couple teams that are playing meaningful games, maybe a third if Wilmington gets through on Wednesday. They'd be playing a championship game. They are going to the PIAA playoffs regardless of how their Wednesday night game goes. So we wish the very best of luck to the Newcastle boys on Friday night, the Neshannock girls on Saturday morning, the Wilmington girls on Wednesday night, and then the other teams that are playing consolation games. We'll have more basketball to talk about next week, but good luck to everybody. We thank you for joining us. Anything else you want to say, Larry?
Yeah, baby. Get the fire trucks ready Friday night. I want the Newcastle Fire Department on standby, because about 11:30, the Red Hurricanes going to be coming home with the trophy. And I expect the fire trucks to be meeting them out there on Route 422 to bring them home. And you could just stay there because Neshannock's going to bring it home on Saturday morning, too.
All right. Very good. Thank you for joining us, Larry. And thank you for watching us, everybody. We will see you back here on Tip-Off next week.
We all know there's an advantage to being the home team, to playing at home. And at LGKG, we have been your home team for over 90 years.
We're more than just a law firm. We're your friends, your neighbors, an advocate when life takes an unexpected turn.
We're not just lawyers that practice law. We live in this community, just like you.
When you need us most, we're at our best.